The economic downturn took a toll on New Jersey's foundations, endowments, and philanthropic groups, which support many educational institutions, arts organizations, and other nonprofits. Despite this, giving continued, according to Nina Stack, the president of the Council of New Jersey Grantmakers. But will this generosity continue in 2012? Stack joins me now to offer her insight. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
First, tell us about the Council of New Jersey Grantmakers. Who are your members? Who benefits?
We're the statewide association for grant makers. That's private foundations, corporations, corporate foundations, any public grant makers. We have about a third are independent foundations like the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation or the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation. About a third are family foundations. Some of those can be very large in terms of their assets, some small, some have staff, some don't. And then about a third are our corporate foundations and corporate giving programs, as well as some community foundations and other public grant makers, state agencies and the like that are members. So that's the defining moment, is that they're all giving away their endowments, giving away money.
And they're required to give a certain percentage, right?
Private foundations are required to give 5%. Some will give more, and you'd mentioned about the economic downturn. What we saw in 2009, 2010, while their endowments went down, the endowments of the private foundations went down, many, to try and close that gap, it meant that they had less money to give. They would actually increase the percentage, so that they, instead of giving out the required 5%, some gave out 6, 7, even 8%. They've now gone back, because the market's improved, which has been wonderful. They've now gone back to their more traditional giving levels. But what we also saw that was really interesting was the new ways that foundations were working to try and help their grantees and help the causes that they care about, whether that was offering technical assistance, workshops, capacity building kinds of workshops, working with boards, perhaps bringing in consultants to help in coaching, all those kinds of things. So we saw some of that.
Nice. Now, in the past, New Jersey ranked pretty high in terms of assets held by foundations. Is that still the case today?
It is. We're a wealthy state. Just in the standard wealth indexes, we usually come in the second or third wealthiest state. In terms of foundations, we'll rank somewhere, I think the last I saw was about 8th. And that's based on the endowments of the private foundations. So we're fortunate here.
Now, you don't work with nonprofits, but how can they find out more about getting grants?
Sure. We often get calls from organizations that are looking. The first thing that I'll tell them is that foundations make up about 11% of all the private giving that's done. Corporations make up about 6% of all the private giving. That big remaining piece is actually made up of private donors, individuals, the individual giving. It's the check that we write at the end of the year to those causes that we care about. So that's the first thing that I'll tell a nonprofit when they're looking for help with fundraising. And then there's some great resources when they do want to apply for grants. There's some great resources like the Foundation Center, which is based in New York City, but has cooperating collections in several libraries in New Jersey, as well as cooperating collections around the country, actually. And they even have a directory that you can subscribe to online and research if you're interested in autism or you're interested in sustainability or green building. You can find funders who are also interested in those issues. It's a great resource for many nonprofits looking for funding.
Nina Stack, we thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.